this on an angle? That's very down.
Sonia, what's the date for the Gibson talk?
April 19th.
April
Friday, April 19th, 7 o'clock.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, so I'd just like to talk about the two exhibitions before we begin our presentation tonight. First of all, I know some people came out specifically to see Keith Campbell, whose work is upstairs. That was an exhibition that was organized by the WKP Kennedy Gallery in North Bay. Keith does have a connection way back to Chatham. He taught classes here. Was actually, Leonard remembers him from days past when he was a glass blower. And unfortunately, Keith has had some health issues, and they kind of flared up a little bit just the other day. And so unfortunately, that prevented him from coming down, because he was going to do a workshop tomorrow too. So, but we're hoping we'll be able to get him back when he's recovered, and that workshop will take place then. But if you haven't had a chance, take a look upstairs. There are publications at the front, so you're welcome to have one. They are free. And please sign the guest book. The other exhibition that's downstairs is called Collecting. And these are selections from the Michael Gibson Gallery in London. It's a commercial gallery, and Michael has a great representation of mostly regional artists. Some of these people actually, again, have a local connection. Brian Jones was originally from Chatham and moved away and moved to Collingwood. Unfortunately, passed away in 2008, but there's certainly a good selection of works by him at the Gibson Gallery. Michael is going to be coming to Chatham to do a talk April 19th. So I said I asked Sonia, she said yes, I think. 7 p.m. He's going to talk about collecting. I know a lot of people in Chatham have art collections, and so if you're interested in either starting a collection, or if you have a collection and you want to ask questions about different artists, you're invited to come out to that presentation. Now, tonight, I think most of you are here for a very special presentation. I've been here since a long time. I'm trying to think back, 1994, 95, somewhere. And one of the first people who I met here was Audrey. And Audrey was at that time had been a volunteer at the gallery for a number of years, docent, organizer of lectures and bus trips and fundraisers and Eye for Art. When I was thinking about tonight, I mean, the gallery has a fairly long history back from 1963. And, I know there's been a lot of people over the years who've been involved with the gallery, helping to get it started, helping to keep it going, volunteering, teaching, scrubbing floors, doing whatever needed to get done. But for me personally, some of those people I know, unfortunately a number of them have long gone, but I think I have certainly a special relationship with Audrey. One, for the fact that she's been such a dedicated volunteer for all those years. I don't think that there's anybody else who's been involved to that extent year after year. And she's done a lot. I mean, the money that she raised through different the lectures or the bus trips all went to help improve things for the gallery, whether it was equipment that was needed or just anything that could possibly be wanted by the gallery. And a lot of that came from money that was outside our budget. And not only that, but you need people who are outside staff to champion the cause of a gallery. And Audrey has certainly been above and beyond anything that we could possibly have asked for in person. And, you know, I mean, I think a lot of things that we have wouldn't be possible without what she's done for the gallery. And so, you know, we're thinking, well, you know, what do we do to, what can we do to show our appreciation? We have a Founder's Garden, and I know there's been a number of people who've been, you know, shown in recognition. But I felt that we needed to do something that was maybe just a little bit more than that. And so the idea came up that because of Audrey's involvement in education, as well as you know, as being a docent and organizing all the classes, and also being a chair of the gallery's advisory committee, coming in and signing all those documents all the time. You know, so what, Sonia, could I have the, so what we decided to do was that Studio 2 of the Cultural Center is the place where all our arts education takes place. And so we thought it'd be fitting that we rename that the Audrey Mistele Art Studio. And this terrific wrapping paper was made by our March break students today. And they all signed it and all said, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Audrey, I'd like to present that. Before I let Audrey have the mic, and we are going to toast. We've got champagne ready to go for everybody. We have a special guest who was willing to say a few words, and someone who is basically Audrey coerced. I'm not sure what the word is, but to come out from Detroit and do lectures and bus tours. And you know, again, it was a big part of the education program. Michael Farrell.
This is very difficult for me because it is about me, and I have to defer because it really is about you tonight. I know. 45 years at the University of Windsor, they can't fire me, and at about the 39th, about my 4th or 5th year, Joan Plummer had your job here and invited me to come to Chatham. So I've been coming here, I don't know, a long time, I think. And my kids went to the Pines, not being Catholic, which is why I sent them. So I've had a close run in here. You know, on the other side of the river, I'm called the Detroit prostitute of arts. On this side of the river, I'd be the Chatham-Kent prostitute of arts, and Audrey has been my pimp. Come up with these crazy schemes and these projects. In fact, I'm surprised you didn't have a brass plaque going on the bar. Her bus tours were unbelievable. You remember, you had cocktails, you had coffee. They'd come down. We went everywhere. We went to Chicago, we went to Cincinnati. It was always great fun. Everybody loved it, but at the heart was something very, very serious. And I went to my youngest daughter's graduation at the Pines. I don't remember who the guy was that gave the announcement, or he gave the talk, but he said something that stuck with me for the rest of my life, and that is, there are three kinds of people in the world: people who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and people who wonder what happened. If you came within, I don't know, a city block of Audrey Mistele, not only would you know what was going on, but if you didn't, she'd educate you, and the next thing you know, you'd be volunteering. I'm surprised that several of you are still alive tonight, because I've seen you in the kitchen, making the cookies, watching the coffee, and doing all the things. She would do it as well. She somehow manages to orchestrate you, right? Is that right? Always. And you need a tyrant to make things happen. And you know what, right? And how fortunate you and we all are to have Audrey Mistele have run that tyranny over us all, because quite frankly, you need the people to make things happen, and she is a great seducer. Congratulations on that.
So if everybody has their glass, then we toast to Audrey.
Audrey.
Sing a song. I hope this doesn't take away from Audrey's, whatever she's going to say, but I don't know how many people know that Audrey's first date with David was right here in the old gymnasium. Think about that. When this was the high school. Nice, eh?
The first date in formal dance. Formal dance in the. Okay. Okay, just to finish, or tell the truth about Carl's statement. When David was a first-year teacher at the Chatham Vocational School, he invited me to a formal dance in this very room. But because he was a first-year teacher, he got to do hall duty. So didn't I have a good time? No. I would like to, there's so many things I would like to say. On February the 21st, I received a telephone call from Carl to tell me that Studio 2 was to be renamed Audrey Mistele Art Studio. Okay. I was overwhelmed. Just speechless. I accept this honor with much humility. We are all familiar with the old flippant comment, "What's past is prologue." I'm not convinced this is true, but rather the prologue creates a gateway to future growth and development. In 1963, when the Chatham Vocational School was closed and the property listed for sale, a group of civic-minded gentlemen, together with architect Fred Dawes, envisioned a center for the arts. 50 years later, Their initial efforts have provided for our community the Chatham Cultural Center. The school gymnasium, now our Thames Art Gallery, was rented by the true pioneers of the local art movement, Kay Patterson and Alice Clark. They offered lessons and engaged Windsor artist Armand Rossi as instructor. 20 aspiring artists enrolled for these classes. Very popular. Eventually, the responsibility of obtaining instructors, dealing with funding, robbed Alice and Kay of precious time away from their painting, thus ending the first era of the Thames Art Gallery. And then there was Gwen Gold, who devoted her time, her artistic talent, her organizational abilities, her significant financial support. Gwen, who was committed to ensuring Chatham would enjoy a successful center for the arts. And then another era. This facility was formerly known as the Thames Art Center. I first served as a board member, gallery volunteer, past president, gallery docent. A wonderful experience, particularly touring elementary school students through an exhibition and having the opportunity to view the works through the eyes of a child. They often see wonderful things that we as adults miss. After the city takeover, I served on the committee of the center representing the gallery. You've already heard from him, but I'm thinking that many of you will be wondering when I would finally acknowledge Michael. Michael Farrell, Faculty of Fine Arts, University of Windsor. Michael, always informative, always entertaining. Together we organized several series of lectures which readily translated into bus trips with Michael as our tour guide. Rembrandt and the Golden Age of Dutch Art at the Dayton Art Institute. Fabergé in America, Cleveland Museum of Art. This one I loved, Boys of Detroit. Architects Albert Kahn and Minoru Yamasaki, and painter Gary Machers, whose work we viewed at the Detroit Athletic Club, Kahn and Yamasaki, Detroit and Windsor. And Art Deco. Detroit, just across the river, a treasure trove of Art Deco buildings. Art Institute of Chicago, the beautiful Chagall windows, Frank Lloyd Wright architecture, Pullman Workers Village, great trip. We organized Sunday lectures featuring Michael with background piano music and gourmet desserts. The success of these events was assured by a group of women dedicated to the Thames Art Gallery. Anne Marie McLennan, always in charge of Studio One decor. Jean Rosini and Anne Gilbert, whose desserts were so delicious. And who can forget Cheryl Jubenville's chocolate mousse? Then the many other tasks that needed to be attended to. Karen DeConey, Betty Parliament, Bert Neal, Gail Campbell, Diane Breck. The events were organized under the umbrella of the volunteer committee with all profits directed to the gallery. I would like to express my appreciation to all attending this evening, to Carl, who proposed my name for this wonderful honor, to Michael, my old friend, you did show up. to my husband Dave, who was the last principal of Chatham Vocational School, and all of our 4 children and some grandchildren are here this evening. What talented people and interesting people I have met along the way. The artists and people who became really special friends. It's been a wonderful journey, and I thank you.
Again, thanks everyone, and please, you're welcome to stay. Amber McLean is our featured musician tonight. We thank Amber for coming out, and she's going to continue on.